contracting company. So if you're a company who wants to contract with the Department of Defense, Department of War, you have to pass this certification. We are one of the companies, very few, there's only 106 in the U.S. at this moment, that can do those assessments.
It's gone up by 5 since the last time
I
we talked.
know. It's moving at breakneck pace of maybe one a month.
Hi, I'm Eric.
I'm Mike.
And welcome to the Cyber Sitrep, the Cyber Situation Report.
You got it.
Yes! Dude,
Boom.
Nice.
Okay.
Whatever you're doing, man, keep it up. That
I am
great.
tired as hell. But
That's it. So, and because, one of the reasons why you're so tired is the topic of the SITREP is
right.
CMMC scoping. No, seriously. CMMC scoping.
Seriously, It's important.
Because, the good news is Mike and his company are extremely busy right now.
Yeah.
People are coming out of the woodworks, and you guys are doing awesome. You're crushing it. And
Lucky.
Well, fortunate, and also you guys are well positioned. Great to work with you guys. But what you're finding as you're taking on all these people is that scoping of what's in scope, what's out of scope for CMMC protection.
That's right.
Seems to be kind of a sticking point, right, with a lot of your customers.
So for those who don't know, CMMC, the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, is a requirement by the DoD/W. I don't know. It still hurts me when we say that. Yeah. The DoD/W. That requires all government contracting companies. So if you're a company who wants to contract with the Department of Defense, Department of War, you have to pass this certification. We are one of the companies, very few, there's only 106 in the U.S. at this moment, that can do those assessments.
It's gone up by 5 since the last time we talked.
I know. It's moving at breakneck pace of maybe one a month. 1.5 a month.
Get your other sit reps for why that is.
Yeah.
But no, that's good, though.
And, so the math is there's over 150,000 that need this certification, and, there's very few of us out there.
106 companies, has to be redone every 3 years, and not a chance.
The math doesn't math.
It just doesn't work.
The issue we're seeing, they're coming to us, so these companies
This is why we're doing this set rep, right?
Exactly. They've put their time, effort, money, blood, sweat, tears into getting prepared to get to us, the final stage, the blessing. And we look at them, and they haven't scoped their environment. And by scoping, we mean, what are we looking at?
Right.
So we are looking at your information system.
Not a notion.
Right.
But exact.
Exact.
Down to the component, right?
Exactly. So we have to know what you consider in scope and what is considered out of scope. If it's out of scope, we don't need to look at it. However, this thing that we've been tracking, we've had a sit rep on this too, controlled unclassified information, CUI or CUI or however you want to pronounce it. That is where we're looking for, because anything that handles it is in scope.
Handles it.
Transmits it. Or processes it.
Yep, exactly.
So
that's the 3.
Those are the 3. And when we talk about scoping, it's imperative that you have it right. Because if you say, hey, I'm looking at these 4 computers in the corner, and it turns out, well, those 4 computers talk to 20 other computers. Now you've got 24 computers in scope. And that assessment is not going to go the way you thought if you only looked at those 4 computers in the corner. So scoping is critical.
Right.
It's a critical mass.
And once again, I am not a direct employee of Digital Beachhead. We run our own company, Corvus Technologies.
You wouldn't know by his shirt, though.
I'm a huge fan. I love the shirt, love the merch. It's going to be awesome. But what we're seeing on our side is, there's this mad dash of companies needing your services that have to pay really good money to get in queue because, once again, it's a scale problem, right? So you're spending all this money to get in queue with this false sense of security that you're ready because you didn't scope properly. And then you get all the way to the altar, and Mike,
and I run away
as the aficionado runs away. Right? I mean, he's as the officiating
official. I can't make this marriage happen between you and the certificate.
I just in good conscience can't bless this marriage. Right?
That's right. So,
so Mike, before we get into the scoping real quick, so what happens when they get up to the altar and you have to officially, with your official C3PO hat on, tell them, I'm sorry, my child, you are not ready for the sacrament of marriage.
So
what does that mean in English to that company?
So what we try to do is we try to put them on a hold pattern.
So see, he's a good guy. He's trying to protect you because he doesn't have to do this.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Technically, once you accept and we start the contract, we should fail you at what we call phase one, which is we looked at your paperwork and you're not there. So that's like before you even get to a formal assessment.
Right.
And that should be reported in the EMAS system, which is a government system.
That'll leave a mark.
And then every government contractor would know you failed round one. So we try to avoid that by just saying, like, well, let's just take a pause, step back, and then we tend to refer folks out to people like Corvus to help them get prepared. And it's not a case of you don't want to do it or you're, being malignant. And when you get to us, we can see you're trying to do your best. But if you don't understand step one, scoping,
you're going to have a bad time.
You're going to miss all the other steps. And so when we speak of scoping, it is literally that environment that you are going to have assessed. And the key for that is how does thy CUI flow? How does the CUI come in? How does the CUI go out? And
where
then
does it rest?
Where is it in between? Where do you store it? How do you send it amongst your own employees? Who gets to see it? Who doesn't get to see it? So when we speak scoping, it is literally finding that balance, finding and understanding that.
And Mike, if I could, we're not reinventing the wheel here.
No.
The good news is the CMMC, powers that be, have put together a scoping guide for us, right? For level 1, which is federal contract information, level 2, which is CUI, and level 3, they don't have a scoping guide for because, well, or do they?
They will, but they haven't really
But that's
passed
the
that out
advanced
yet.
controls.
Yep.
But the point is, they have all that language in there. It's very easy to read. I just looked through it again and over the past couple of days. Help, like you said, using that analogy of being at the altar. We're more of the marriage counselors.
Yes.
Saying, okay,
Trying
are
to
you
help
guys
them get there?
Yeah, are you guys really sure you're ready to do this? And do you have everything lined up? And this is a lifelong commitment. Are you sure you're sure?
Right.
But it's there. It's great. Free resource. It's at the DoD CIO site or the DOW CIO site. The URL, the last time I checked, it's still DoD CIO, but just Google DoD CIO CMMC and you'll find the landing page, and all the authoritative documents are there, including that scoping guide, which then, as we're talking about these terms, we didn't just make them up. We're using them from that guide.
That's right.
Because that's what we follow, right?
Right. And so there's something you have to do, which in CMMC parlance is called the asset inventory. However, I like to call it the asset categorization.
Yes.
So it's not that you have to say, I have 100 laptops, here are all the serial numbers, which we would think of as an inventory. That's your actual asset inventory.
Right.
This is, I have laptops. Those laptops are either a CUI device, meaning they maintain, hold, or process CUI. They're out of scope, meaning we're not going to look at them, but we still need to know they exist.
Right.
They are a special or a security protection asset. A security SPA, security protection asset, means it's just doing security things and is not processing or storing CUI. Or it could be contractor risk managed, CRMA. Mm-hmm. A contractor risk managed asset is an asset that's in scope, but it isn't supposed to contain, transmit, or process CUI. So it's in the environment, but say my easiest example, you have a person that's running your finances in your company, and they don't really deal with the CUI, but they're on the network. So they could be listed as a CRMA. And the only other asset that could be possible, and these are more for manufacturers, are your OT assets or your specialized assets in SA. So we have to then look at your environment, and we need to see it all. And then you have to tell us for each piece of equipment or pieces type of equipment, like you could say printers, what they are. We also need to know people, facilities, who's in scope, who's out of scope.
Right.
They have to be listed as part of this inventory. Mm-hmm. So when you think of that and you're like, man, what do I have in my office? Your cameras, your doorbells, your security locks, the keys. So when you're thinking CMMC is an IT problem and I secured my stuff on that one computer in the corner,
it definitely is, but it's more than that.
It's a lot more, right? And so you have to start thinking about which people have access to CUI, which people don't have access to CUI. A big one, people are missing the cleaning crew. They come in at night. Are they authorized users? Do they have access to CUI? Could they have access to CUI? How do you label them? We need to know all of this and more on
mind blown, right?
Right. And so that is the issue at hand. And it's difficult as knowing what those all are to even wrap your head around it. I can't imagine a company trying to do this on their own and having to think, man, so what is that?
Or if, you're a fly in the wall and you see your company come up with that in a week or two, then you may want to question leadership to verify that they did due diligence,
Did
right?
they really go through it? Yeah.
Right. Because it does take a while. I mean, to your point, it's pervasive. It's everywhere. But once again, all those terms he was just rattling off directly from the scoping guide. So please, if you don't remember anything else from the Sitrep, download that, read it now.
Yep.
Read it first before you even read the assessment guide so you can figure out what kind of playground do you have.
And the idea of scoping is you can maybe reduce costs.
Yes.
We did talk about this earlier, scoping into how it can reduce costs.
Right.
Because again, if you do have that one computer in the corner and you can say that it is an island of itself,
right,
not talking to anything, then maybe the assessment's less, your investment's less. But if you think it's that and it's not that, then you're down a bigger rabbit hole of expense, time, energy, and money.
Yeah.
And so my simple phrase that I tell a lot of the people who ask, well, how do you know if something's in scope? If you can ping it, it's in scope. Meaning if my computer can talk to your computer, it's in scope. And why that's important is home networks. In today's day, we're a hybrid workforce. Some people come into the office. Some are just working from home.
Right.
And when you work from home and you're bringing your corporate computer to that home office, can it ping my Xbox? Can it ping my spouse's computer? Can it ping my kid's computer?
My Internet of Things.
My Internet
toys
of Things
that I have.
The Alexa devices.
Right.
If it's on that network, they're all in scope. And we don't want them to be in scope.
Such a buzzkill. My
I
gosh.
know. It's terrible. So that's why we have to find a way to remove that work computer from the home network scope. That's where VPNs,
right,
zero trust networks, doing something on the individual workstations firewall.
Right.
So there's tons of options. But again, if we're not aware of it, we don't think about it.
Right.
And we've run into this. So this is from experience. This isn't just like, great to tell you. We're seeing it.
We're not trying to be Chicken Little. Right?
Yeah,
we really
it's happening on the daily.
Yeah.
We recently had a potential client who did come in and said, well, we're using, TLS, HTTPS. And I'm like, well, that means your communications are, secured.
Right.
What about your Alexa? And they're like, what do you mean? Can you ping it? Well, yeah. Then it's in scope. So that was not a paperwork change that they could just do on the fly.
Right.
This was going to be a technological,
architectural,
some kind of rebuild.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I chuckle because I'm just thinking back. You keep calling us, and we're two former crusty NCOs. This is remedial training. What we're doing right now, right?
This is yes.
So we have our fresh Airman Basic, out of tech school, and they're following what they learned in their limited amount of tech school, and it's like that's not really quite answering
that's
the mark.
That's the book
here,
answer.
right?
Now let us tell you how
now
it's
let's
really
say how
done.
it works, right? And that's what we're doing here. So this is remedial training number one, and we're committed to doing as much of this as we need to get this across. But Mike, I think you hit a really good point, and this isn't a plug for you guys to engage us for services. If you do, great, but engage somebody, right?
Exactly.
If you're not walking this every day, and you're not intimately comfortable with these terms and these materials, then you need a professional opinion. You do, because it's too important. Like you said, you spend all that time, effort, and money to get there, and then you find out you're not ready, and then that has ramifications, and causes problems going forward.
We've seen a company that had 2 false starts trying to get into an assessment, and they finally just said, you're doing this. You know what's going on. What do you see that we're doing differently? And I said, you're doing it alone.
Right.
And I said, you don't. It's not from lack of trying, and it's not from lack of, giving it 110%.
Right. Carrying all that.
But if you don't understand the term,
right,
and you don't understand the scoping and how to implement a certain control or objective, you think you are. So you come to us like, I got this,
right?
And then,
unfortunately, that I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night
isn't going to
get it
work.
Isn't going to get it done for you, right?
Do it.
Unfortunately.
So sometimes it's bringing in that expert to just kind of say, hey, this is what that means, and therefore, the people who are trying their hardest can go, well, okay, I can do that, and you're like, yeah. A little bit of advice, a little bit of guidance and pointing in the right direction. On that, I would say find a trusted partner, because this is such a big thing at the moment. There are a lot of snake salesmen out there that promise you the world. So make sure you talk to people who know.
You keep running into that aftermath, don't you?
Right.
It's
and
really
that's
sad.
the other thing we see is if someone comes and said, well, I hired a professional, just like you said.
Got you covered, and then poof, they're gone.
Yeah, and they don't know what they're talking about.
They didn't know how to scope either. Yeah. So start with a guide, right, everybody?
Scoping guide. I'll reach out. Although we can't offer advice, I can explain scoping.
Exactly.
We can have a one-on-one to discuss what scoping is and what it needs to be. I would say the first thing my advice would be is do an inventory. If you see it and it's not a desk, chair, if it can hold cooey,
that's a great
so
point.
that's that could be a bookshelf or a cabinet.
It's a great idea. Right. And if you don't know, if you're not sure if it's in scope or out of scope, say it's in scope. Be safe, right?
Protect it.
Have something to start with, right? And then do a second pass. Hopefully get that professional consultation to come in, give you a sanity check, and see how close you are. You may have been a lot closer than you thought. But to your point, Mike, you could have one or two critical things that you misinterpreted that could hold you up with your accreditation because they're big.
Absolutely.
Right? So we don't want that.
The biggest thing we're seeing is that people are underscoping because they've been told there are companies out there that say, we do it all for you. And they just fall into that, well, they do it, trap.
That's going to be another Cyber. We're going to have to be careful with that, though, because
everyone will know who we're speaking of.
Yeah, we don't want to, have defamation or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But you know who you are, people, and we eventually are going to come for you because we see what you're doing.
Yeah, and so there's people out there that do. They try to say, hey, we've done it all for you, and they come to us and things aren't scoped right.
Yeah, in 2 weeks and for the low cost of however many thousands of dollars.
Yep, you're done.
You're done. Turnkey solution.
And it doesn't work quite that well.
No.
So
anyway.
That's the helping, right?
Yeah.
You need to get that help, and you need the right help. But I've seen underscoping. Again, that's kind of the biggest thing because people think that other people have it covered for them. And then the misunderstanding of what is in and out. So again, that simple ping test. It has to be physically or logically separated. So that's the terminology that's used.
Right.
I say ping it. If you can ping it, it's not
once again
physically
like a true NCO out in the field.
Right. If you can ping it, then it's not physically or logically separated from that other device.
Exactly.
Therefore, it's in scope.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's your easy test. That's
right,
easy button.
So even if you feel confident, do it anyway. Recheck. You'll thank us later because once again, Mike's seeing it in the field. He's letting you know this is an issue. Don't be one of those people that has to leave the altar empty-handed.
That's right. So check your scoping, get the scoping guide, have someone help you scope. But remember, scoping. It's here. It's important.
Seriously.
Seriously.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Remember to like and follow. Hey, we're coming to you from the Studio 809 Community Podcast Studio here at the Next Us. This is a professional cooperative environment for small businesses here in downtown Colorado Springs. We'd like to thank them for supporting us over our journey.
Yeah, it's been a minute or two.
Yes.
Thank you guys for your continued support.
Thank you.